Hey, what's up guys? Fish Tank Mike here. Today we're finally going to give the centerpiece tank behind me a facelift. For the longest time, this aquarium has had this Fluval 3.0 LED on here balancing on these clamps that we have on each side. And while this has worked out really well for me, it just doesn't look good. Not to mention it is a little precarious. I have it kind of in the perfect position here, so it is kind of stable, but still, if you bump this thing or anything goes on with these, then you're in trouble. This thing's going in the water. We had to have this light fixture propped up because if it sits down here on the tank, it's just too low. We don't get good light distribution. So we have a new fancy, very fancy light fixture that we got in from ONF. We're going to be taking a look at it. But before we do that though, I want to get the tank all trimmed up and ready. But let's get a shot of how it looks now with the current light. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think that looks a heck of a lot better. Gotta stay up on trimming this tank. It's a pretty quick one, but check out the Madagascar rainbow fish. Absolutely loving these guys. I can't wait to get another big rainbow tank going. Let's go ahead and let this tank clear up and let's talk about the light that we have in today, guys. I recently partnered up with ONF to show off some of their standard lights. I haven't had any of these. I'm really excited to try them out. They are super, super fancy high-end LEDs. You might remember that upstairs we're using some of the flat nano LEDs. That's where I got introduced to these lights. I just went on Amazon, bought a couple of them, and absolutely love these things. Super stylish, and their performance is also really good. The RGB LEDs that are in these fixtures make for just like some of the best coloration I've seen in any of my tanks. So the LED we're unboxing today is the 36-inch version of their Flat One standard, okay? A little confusing. There's a 24-inch version of this light. This is going to be the LED that has stands on the sides, so it's going to hang on the sides of your aquarium. They also have a pendant version of these two lights, and it's going to require you to have a hanging kit. We also have one of those. We'll take a look at it here in the future. Right off the bat, you're going to notice that the packaging on these things is super nice. It really does give you that like high-end feel. And once we get the light fixture out, it's this nice brushed stainless steel look, and I mean 100 style points right here, guys. This is probably the best looking fixture that I've ever gotten my hands on. It's got a super nice braided cord here that's going to plug into the power supply that's underneath the fixture. And then as far as controls, again, I'm unfamiliar with this for right now, but it looks like it's going to be a nice little touch panel here on the side. We'll take a look at this in a second. Before we get that thing on, we got to get rid of this. The Fluval 3.0, a good LED, don't get me wrong, but just doesn't work well for our setup here. Let's get rid of these clamps, man, finally. First impressions, this thing is super, super bright, okay? The greens are definitely popping a lot more, and you know, it's not as high still as I'd like it to be. If it was a little bit higher, I think we'd get some better light coverage in the back here. 40 breeders are tough, but this is definitely better than what we had. From front to back, this thing is 20 inches, okay? And the LEDs obviously are not exactly 20 inches. They're a little bit less than that, but as you can see, it's still, you know, probably like 16 inches of light coverage there, and it's doing a pretty dang good job. The color pop that you get from the RGBs, just like the flat nanos upstairs, is really, really good. So greens are greener, reds are more red, and I mean, it just looks really, really good in here. I'm still working on figuring out all of the touch controls here, but if we press this one, we can go down in brightness. So if we're having a little bit too much light, we can always notch it down. And then this one right here is going to notch it back up. Let's go to full power again. It looks like this guy right here is going to be for the blues. Alright, so once, let's press it again. We go full blue. Ooh, that spooked him. On off right here. Simple, simple. And then the last one is the Bluetooth. And I don't know if that's a pressable thing. Let's go ahead and let's download the app so we can control this thing on our phone. Okay, we got this thing connected, so from here we can make some changes to the blue that we have in our lights, as well as the brightness, which is pretty cool. So we're going to turn the blue on 0, and then there's a little bit of lag, but still works good. Of course, the most important thing is setting up the daytime timer. So here you can see I have it already set up. We're starting at 12 p.m., we're ending at 10 p.m., a nice 10 hours, and then you just select that timer to be on, and you're all good to go. Okay guys, so we've been living with this new light fixture for, I want to say like 2 weeks now, and I'm just really impressed with the coloration we get. I mean, I've said it before in this video, but if we check out some of the reds here, on the needle leaf Laguigia, for example, looking really, really good. That plant was definitely not as red as it has grown under this light. It's in part the light that does make it look a little bit more red, but it's definitely getting some more coloration from just the light source itself. I have been running this light on pretty much full blast, okay, and what that's done is it's caused pretty much all of my Rotala, the green stuff and the red stuff in the back, to really creep down and grow tight, really compact. That was something that we didn't see really that all too much of with the previous light. And again, these plants typically, when you put a ton of light on them, they tend to grow like that. And I actually really like that for this scape. It means I have to trim a little bit less, and if I do, it's just trimming the sides here. The exception to that type of growth is what we see in the baby tier, so the main green plant here that you see most of on your screen. I'm in here constantly trimming it back, and it just helps to create an even more bushy look. So overall, I'm really happy with this light fixture. I think not only does it look phenomenal, but it creates just an awesome tank for me here. I love the colors, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But what I do want to mention to you is the sizing here. So this is meant to fit on a 90 centimeter aquarium. The aquariums that I have, these 40 breeders, these Aquions that I took the rim off of, it doesn't fit them very well, okay? And that's because this tank is actually 36 inches across. Most of the really nice rimless aquariums that these light fixtures are meant for are going to be just inside that actual 36-inch mark. So with this fixture, I did have to kind of spread this out to get it on, and it just barely fits. I did go ahead and check it on an actual rimmed 40 breeder, and it will not fit. You cannot kind of pinch these out far enough to get it to sit on there. So just keep that in mind. Any rimless aquarium you get, like a 90p from UNS or a 36 by 20 from Waterbox, this light will fit on because those are going to be just inside 36 inches. I know a question that some of you guys are going to have is, how hot does this thing run? There's a lot of fixtures on the market that do run very hot to the touch, and I'm excited to say that this thing is only hot in its appearance. Okay, it is warm to the touch, but even just, you know, if I have my hand on here, I can leave it here for forever, and that goes for pretty much anywhere else on this thing. It doesn't seem like there's one particular hot spot like some light fixtures have, so I'm happy that that's the case, and that makes me feel a lot more comfortable about it. Some fixtures are a little sketchy. Something that I learned from looking at some other creators that have reviewed this thing is that these blue light settings actually make it compatible for a reef tank, and the rummy nose tetras do not like that. Let's go on corals. Apparently it works just fine for those. Anyway guys, I think that's gonna do it for this ONF FLAT ONE LED tank light review. I guess that's what we ended up doing here today. If you guys want to learn more about it, there will of course be links down in the description so you guys can check this out on Amazon. And we got to thank ONF once again for sending out this awesome light fixture. Hopefully we can get a few more of them on here once we get our other two tanks in the lineup spruced up and looking good, and we can match them with this really cool light fixture. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Let me know what you think of this light fixture down in the comments below. If you've had this thing, what was your experience like with it? I'm always eager to see what you guys have to say. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.